And we're good. We're going.
We are good. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and people who identify as either male or female, we have reached the end, nearly, of Taskmaster Series 6. How are you doing this week, Joe?
Good. I am coming to you from my house. Emerson seems to be coming from the end of a tube.
Well, it'll probably sound better because I'm recording from Audacity, so you can still hear me on Zencastr. This has probably been the reason why my audio has been so inconsistent. Zencastr's a real bitch for me. So what I do is I simultaneously record my audio on Audacity as well.
Fascinatingly, I never have this issue. I think it must not like you because it doesn't like England, maybe. Who knows?
Possibly, but I mean, it doesn't make too much of a difference. Like it's still extremely easy to sync up the audio, and I have no problems. Sometimes you might.
All right.
Hello. Sorry, what?
No, I was saying all right.
Oh, okay. Sorry. It just it sounded really quick. It sounded like you were saying hi, but it kind of cut in and out a bit. Okay. So, any banter, Joe?
No, haven't got a thing.
I just did a little bit of snooping around because you mentioned last week that the Kongan Belfar.
That's Taskmaster news. That's not banter.
Well, this is more. This is banter / news for us, but really.
Yes.
The Kongan Belfar Taskmaster. We mentioned that
Antonsen.
Yeah, he was. He came under fire for some racist comments.
So you're a racist now, Atle. But
he is now officially the first ever Taskmaster to be dethroned.
Yes, he.
What that means for Kongan Belfar's future is it's very up in the air.
Yeah, apparently they actually recorded the Christmas special like 2 days before that. And like 2 days before it was announced. And so he probably finished recording it, got drunk afterwards, and was racist. And so... I
was going to say I hope that's not what happened, but it very well feasibly could have been what happened.
Yeah, I don't really have any comments on this other than that.
Obviously, we do not condone his actions.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think it needs to be said that racism is bad.
Any sort of prejudice is bad.
Well, yeah. But he is no longer the Taskmaster. The Christmas special has been recorded, but is apparently not going to be aired.
That's a real shame because so many people put time and effort into that, and it might never see the light of day.
That's why you shouldn't be racist. But among many other reasons, you shouldn't be racist for that. But also, do we have any other comments other than don't be racist?
I'm not too sure. There's nothing new in my life. So, Joe, prize task.
Yes.
Who wants to do it? Who did it last time?
I don't remember.
Do you have a coin to hand?
Yes.
Heads, I do it.
Right. Crab is the head.
Crab. Okay, I will do the prize task.
It's Icelandic krona. It's a 50 krona piece.
You have a lot of really cool currency.
It's the same coin I've been using for this entire season. I have it in my desk drawer.
Anywho,
I went to Iceland once.
The prize task for episode 10, he was a different man. Very quickly, Alex is wearing a seatbelt to prepare for the impact of today's episode.
Yeah, also, I want to just point out with that, they announced that they were going to have 2 minutes of banter and then had like 37 seconds worth.
Yeah, that's normally a thing what they do. I thought you were going to keep talking for a bit, and I had muted my microphone ready to take a sip from my bottle of water.
Nope. I was just commenting that they'd actually said, like, are you ready for our contractual obligation of 2 minutes of banter? And usually it would be 2 minutes of banter, but it was not.
Anyway, the prize task is you could have probably done with this, or you could not have done with this prize task, considering when your brothers have been married, Joe. It is they have to bring in the least appropriate wedding accessory.
Uh-huh.
Would you have brought in any of these to your brother's weddings?
the nunchucks.
That would be pretty funny. Do you know how to use nunchucks?
No, that's why it would be funny. I could... Okay.
We'll come to the nunchucks in a second, but yeah.
Typically in my family, there is a case for at least bringing the nunchucks. Nothing else.
Is your family one of those families that has very untraditional weddings? Or are they...
No, we're just... Okay, we're too rich to be weird. We're eccentric.
I see.
We're eccentric people. I could totally see someone bringing a pair of nunchucks. I could see it being a situation.
Nunchucks would be pretty hilarious, but we'll get to that in a second. Lisa Tarbuck is up first, and she has brought in a sandwich board saying, "I love Tom Hanks." It's like a protest sign that you wear around your neck, and it's visible on the front and back.
For when I saw this, I immediately thought to a version of this that I can't say, but I guess now deposed Taskmaster Ansel Antonsen could say, which is from Die Hard 3. If you have ever watched the 1990s action movie Die Hard 3, there is a scene in this where, as part of a terrorist forcing John McClane to play Simon Says, makes John McClane go into Harlem, a historically black neighborhood of New York City, wearing a sign that in the censored network TV versions says, "I hate people."
I mean, an I hate... A sign that just said, "I hate people" would be quite funny.
No. In the movie, it's in the actual...
I know it said... I know it most like you censored a... And I assume it said something else, something very racist.
It's a... Yes.
But
yes.
I'm saying a sign that literally just said, "I hate people," and I'm... In this context, I'm not missing any words out there. A sign that just says, "I hate people," I think would be quite funny.
Yes.
It's probably something I would wear, or something like Squidward from SpongeBob SquarePants would wear.
Yeah. I hate people. Squid on strike.
The thing is, Greg Davies points out, if you want to... It's lack of inappropriate... It's inappropriate... How do I describe this? It loses points for inappropriateness because it mentions Tom Hanks, who I think... Tom Hanks is basically just one of those people who, like, you could say his name and everyone immediately gets really excited.
I'm going to just quote Thomas the Tank Engine here. It isn't wrong, but we just don't do it.
Oh.
Is sort of what this would be classified as.
Is that from the... that from the episode where Gordon's whistle basically gets fucked?
I believe so. I believe it is from Gordon's whistle.
Would you like to do just like a joint tier list of like ranking all the Thomas episodes? From one season at a time, as to not overload ourselves.
The tier list. I mean, we could do that at some point. It's just, it's like a tier list of episodes. It's like, so just season 5 at the top?
Oh, no. A tier list of, like, say we tier listed all the series 1 episodes and then all the series 2 episodes.
Oh, God. There's so many episodes, Emerson.
But we could probably talk... We probably wouldn't need to spend more than, like, 2... I mean, considering who we are, we might spend 20 minutes talking about one
that
episode.
Would turn into its own show. I guarantee, you are making the critical mistake of sitting Joe down for an hour and talking about Thomas the Tank Engine, and the end is 3 hours later, you throw down your headphones in disgust and walk away, and there's still my voice coming out of the headphones.
Well, we've still got, our end of series just chat episode.
Oh my God, we could do
I'm not sure when that'll be, but there will be it'll be within the next 3 weeks, definitely. But after that, we might have to take a substantial break.
Yes.
Anyway, oh God, I'm gonna sneeze. I'm gonna mute my microphone unless you want me to keep it on.
I don't care.
Shall I first ever sneeze on mic?
Whatever.
Oh God, it's just gone. Wait, is it coming back? Do you know that? You know when you think you're going to sneeze and it just like keeps coming and going?
Hashtag content.
Yeah, this okay. I'll keep talking, and if the sneeze comes, great. So Russell has brought in gift vouchers for a divorce lawyer.
Which he says are an accessory by the fact that he would wear only those.
I hope he at least wears them around his genital area.
That would be more appropriate, but as the inappropriate is maybe he doesn't.
I mean, he at least has some shred of dignity. Alice has brought in a positive pregnancy test belonging to the mother of the bride. And I was like, okay, what?
That would be very strange.
Because of taskmaster.info, I don't make super detailed notes anymore. So now I basically just write my thoughts, my very brief thoughts next to each contestant, and let taskmaster.info do all the work. With Alice, I just wrote lol, and I can't really remember why.
Okay. She said she was going to wear it instead of a corsage.
What the hell is a corsage?
It's the little flower.
Oh, okay.
See, I also take all my notes from taskmaster.info, but I use it as a backup in case I miss something while I'm typing.
Well, I'm more of a casual viewer. I love talking about it, but yeah.
I am a ranked competitive viewer of Taskmaster.
Joe will speedrun in an entire series and then make very deep in one go, and then make very detailed notes based on his first sitting.
Joe will write down the entire episode and not actually remember any of the content.
Joe will watch one episode of Taskmaster, and then we'll rewatch the same episode, and he'll be able to quote it word from word.
Not that much, but I definitely know the talking points.
Assem has brought in the nunchucks that we alluded to earlier, and he had taken them to a previous wedding for which he was thrown out, and he said
an Indian wedding
in Hounslow. Now, I sort of get this. I'm not from Hounslow. Hounslow is one of the boroughs of London.
But you are Indian.
What a twist. No, I'm going to say I'm from the next borough over to Hounslow. Because, like, do you remember Frank Skinner's joke about a council flat in Ealing back in Series 1?
Yeah. You've said that. We know where you live. You live by the Taskmaster.
Well, my parents live there, live near there. We live close to Hounslow, and we've been there a couple of times. Hounslow is where... Is it? No, I think Heathrow Airport's in Hillingdon. But anyway, it's in that area, and Hounslow is like not a particularly. It's quite a rough area of London. It's not in the. It's right out in the suburbs.
Okay.
And yeah, it's quite rough. Not a particularly. There are nice areas in Hounslow for sure, but generally it's sort of considered like not an amazingly nice area.
Emerson insults Hounslow.
I mean, I can sort of roast it. It's like, you're from Ohio, right, Joe?
Yes.
What is Ohio's biggest state rivalry?
Michigan.
Michigan, okay. That's the one with like the 2 bits that definitely shouldn't be 2 bits.
Oh yes, the Upper Peninsula versus the Mitten.
I mean, one thing I do like. I know I used to be really obsessed with like people like comparing the state outlines to various shapes.
Oh no, you don't understand. You will ask a person from Michigan where they live, and they take their right hand and they point it palm out to you, and they point on it, and that is where they live. They do this universally.
What if they live in the upper bit?
Nobody lives in the upper bit. There is one road. Nobody lives up there. It is like living in fucking Siberia.
No, but anyway, I was looking at a picture and it looks sort of like if you look at it, you might have seen this, but it looks like a fish kind of jumping over a seal or something.
I might have seen a map of Michigan. Yes, I am aware of what the Upper Peninsula looks like.
The Upper Peninsula borders Wisconsin, right?
Yep, yes.
Do you think that bit should belong to Wisconsin?
That implies that Wisconsin wants it.
Or do you think it would make Michigan less special?
Speaking as a resident of the state of Ohio, I don't think Michigan's special at all. So there.
All right. So let's imagine you could make a joke sort of roasting Michigan. Is my point. It's the same as me sort of.
I know where you're getting at.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting over. Or even, I've got your card right here. What? I still got the letter. Where is in Ohio?
Oh shit! Thanks for just fucking doxing me in my small town, where that definitely isn't anywhere. That definitely is easy to find out where I live.
Oh, I'm sorry. Don't worry. I will bleep that. I promise. I'll bleep it. I promise.
Okay.
Anyway, I won't repeat the name, but I've bleeped it. I've doxed myself. I mean, I don't know.
You live in a city of like 20 million people. I live in a town of 20,000.
Okay, I'm sorry. Don't worry. I will bleep it, but I've said it. Is there like how far is it from the nearest big town? Or like maybe you go with the next town over sort of thing. You've surely got a rival with the town.
I know. I roast everywhere I live, okay? If we want to take
then why the hell did you just say Emerson roasts Hounslow or something?
Because I was more making fun of the fact that it's like you live next to it and you had to think like, oh shit, I went to Hounslow once. It's like you live in the same city.
I mean, I've not been there once. I've been there numerous times. Anyway, Tim Vine bought a Waspinator belt. Basically, a Waspinator is like
the pattern on the belt.
But the Waspinator itself is like a fake wasp hive that sort of stops wasps building their hives. In that area.
Already moved in.
And this is where we get the genius of Tim Vine. You ready? Because he says that he wore the Waspinator belt to a grand total of 24 weddings, and it was inappropriate at 21 of them. Joe, who were the 3 weddings in which it was okay to wear the Waspinator belt?
Sting, Buzz Aldrin, and B.B. King.
Classic Tim Vine.
Which I love all of that, although I will say when he said Waspinator for the first time and described what it was, I definitely thought that it was going to end with the Waspinator basically going down his pants so it looks like he's got an enormous crotch.
Oh God. I think in a newer if a younger person was making that pun, they'd probably go with someone like BB Rexha instead of BB King.
I don't know who BB Rexha is.
She's just like, do you know who Dua Lipa is?
Maybe.
BB Rexha is just like a young 20-something pop star.
Okay.
She's from New York City.
Okay. Also,
welcome to the show where we care so much about everything.
Listen, so I was talking to Spelvin in the comment of the last episode, and he doesn't like Mamma Mia because he doesn't like ABBA, and he's trying to tell me that Mamma Mia was let down by the music of ABBA. And Spelvin, I don't think you understand that I like the music of ABBA, and I think that the music of ABBA is the primary reason why Mamma Mia works as well as it does. Because
I don't think I didn't know ABBA was so popular in America. It seems like a very quintessential European thing.
Disco had its moment. Disco still sticks around, but more importantly, Mamma Mia was a wildly successful stage show, and still is in America.
Well, of course, it's very successful here as well.
That sort of made it popular, but you also have to understand that, like, we have a big nostalgia for stuff in the 70s, and ABBA was just as popular over here in just a very different way. It's like it was a big radio hit instead of a dance hall hit.
I don't disbelieve you. We'll put it at that. So now we'll get to the scores. Asim's nunchucks get 5 points. Russell's divorce certificate 4. Alice's pregnancy test 3. Tim's Waspinator belt 2, and Lisa gets 1. Would you like to do Taskmaster Joe?
I would.
Okay, 3, 2, 1.
It's the Taskmaster and his name is Joe, and he's gonna tell us what we should know. It's Taskmaster Joe.
Right. Joint first place, Alice and Russell. I can't think of any way to differentiate those two. They are equally inappropriate to bring to a wedding.
Oof.
It's like one of them is a stick covered with pee that says your mother-in-law's gotten frisky, and the other one is a full-throated no confidence vote in your own marriage. Then I'm going to give Lisa third place because it's very weird. Very weird. That's definitely not someone who's getting invited to any other family events.
The fact it's Tom Hanks might save her maybe one more go.
No.
There are other worse people we could name, which we won't.
Why are you wearing a sandwich board to a wedding? Like, regardless of anything else.
It doesn't matter. Anyway, go for it.
Assam gets fourth place because there is a situation for which nunchucks could be worn, and Tim fifth place because it's just weird. It's like you could hide that as like an accessory. Like, oh yeah, it's all the rage, and it's all the rage in Los Angeles right now. It's like, okay. Although actually, I live in a fairly rural area. You could just say it's hunting season. They look vaguely camo patterned. Could totally work. Nobody would even. It would just be, that's a little weird.
I mean, you could probably wear it on your head and no one could notice if you hid in like a bunch of green shrubs and poked your head through wearing the Waspinator. I don't think anyone would notice you, at least
the
from afar.
The Waspinator is definitely one of the least offensive things on this list. Although when Tim said Waspinator, I really thought it was a machine that produced bees, which would be way more inappropriate.
Not even a machine that produced wasps.
A machine that produced wasps, bees, whatever.
I mean, I hate wasps. I absolutely cannot stand wasps.
Who likes those? Nobody.
The only thing I hate more than wasps is common flies.
Okay.
Like I can't hate bees because of how important they are to their ecosystem. Don't kill the bees. We need the bees. Wasps, hell no. They have to go. I can't think of a single good purpose they serve. And flies even less so. A fly only lives for 4 weeks and then it dies.
Yep.
Anyway, Joseph, hold on. Yeah. Do we have a Hawaiian shirt count to talk about?
No.
Oh, that's a shame.
There was one. We got one. Or two this entire season. Just before we continue on, there is a...
Go on Taskmaster and so we can... We're like multiple Hawaiian shirts on top of each other, so like when we cover that show, we could just layer the track about 15 times.
Yep. No, so I just want to point out before we move on, there is an adapted version of this task. It was done season 2, episode 7 of Sir Mastari.
That's Denmark, right?
I closed the tab. Sir Mastari is Finnish.
Damn it. Cross the finish line. Put your...
Yep. For the next one, we go on to the next one. Okay, so I am going to have to ask you here.
Hello?
I'm going to have to ask you this question.
I'm listening.
So, when it says knock over the fewest Skittles, I'm assuming that this is some British slang for bowling pins.
Well, there's a big difference between Skittles and bowling. Bowling in the UK is exactly what you think it is. Skittles is not the sweet. Well, it is the sweet, but it's also... Skittles is more of like... The best way I can describe Skittles is rural bowling. Now, my family likes to go to the West Country, so it's the Somerset, Devon, Cornwall area. We go there very frequently. And in that area, you get very, very small villages of maybe 1,000 to 2,000 people. And what they will do is they will have like yearly fetes and stuff with like... to raise money for the village, so they'll have very, very basic games such as like a coconut shy. They might have a raffle. I think one I've been to had a duck race where you choose a duck that had a number on the bottom. There was like 100 ducks to choose from, and then they let them go down the river, and if your number finished within like the top 5, you get a small cash prize, only like 15 quid. And one thing they do is Skittles. Now, Skittles is very similar to regular bowling, except there's 9 pins. They're angled in sort of like a diamond shape horizontally. So, like, the widest bit of the diamond is... oh, God. How do I describe it? Like, it looks like a growing V from head on. Oh, for God's sake. Do you get the shape I'm trying to describe?
I do.
Okay.
I do.
It's like a rhombus. That's what I'm trying to say. And it's and it goes horizontally, so it takes up the whole width of the track. They're not shapes like these bowling pins. Skittles that I have seen, they're usually unpainted wood. They're very thick, and they're kind of shaped like, in a way, they're sort of shaped like a rhombus as well, except like a 3D rhombus, but with a flat top and bottom, so they can stand upright. So they're widest in the middle, if you can sort of picture the shape.
I can.
So like a flat bottom, it goes up a bit in like the shape of a normal glass. Then in the middle, it's like, say if you take 2 glasses and you put them on top of each other, that's a rough idea of the shape.
Okay.
And there's 9 of them.
But these are bowling pins in the episode.
Yeah, I think this might just be... This could just be Alex Horne trying to not revert? Is it revert to avert? Resort to Americanisms, basically. Because these are definitely what I would call pins. The Skittles are the ones I've just described to you.
Oh, this is all just really dumb Britishisms, because Skittles are a candy.
I mean, to some people, they're multiple things. I will say with confidence that these look like your bog standard bowling pins. They're white. They've got the sort of like, they're exactly what if you think of a bowling alley, these are the pins you will find there. Yes. These are pins. Okay. These are not Skittles. The ones that I am familiar with. But that is neither here nor there. If we ever have merch, shall I get like a shirt that says that's neither here nor there on it? Because of how much I've said that now.
Yes.
Anyway.
Now,
yeah.
Continuing on. I've forgotten where I was. Yes, I hadn't even described the task yet. The task is knock over the fewest Skittles. You may place 1 item on each of the 3 ramp sections, or you may place 2 items in one of the ramp sections. Your items must be found on this table and may not include either you or the table. You may not tamper with the balls or the ramp. The bowling balls will be released in 5 minutes. Your time starts now. Now, as you might expect, this requires a bit of explanation. There is a bowling lane ending in, it must be like 50 or 60 pins, going down the driveway to the Taskmaster house. There is a table off to one side with a number of items on it, like tubes, rope, string, a cardboard box, bucket of water.
Sorry to interrupt you. I'm looking at the picture, there are a grand total of 36 pins that they have, that is the maximum that they can knock over for this.
Okay. There's a lot of pins. There's a bunch of items there. And the lane is divided into multiple sections, and then at the top of the lane, there are 3 bowling balls being restrained by a plank of wood that Alex will move out of the way at the end of the time. Yeah. We don't get shown a lot of what they do to actually put stuff up. The important things we're going to have to note is there's string, there's the bottom section of a mannequin, which is just the legs.
Bernard's seen better days.
It's not Bernard.
I know. I'm making a joke.
And then it's some string, some tape, and the bucket of water. Those are the really important things. Asim and Lisa go first. They don't particularly understand the task that well. Alex actually tells them to reread it to make sure they do it right, because they've placed more items on the track on the lane that are allowed to block the bowling balls.
Thankfully, they got everything correct in the end, though, so none of them were disqualified.
Yeah, Asim they both put water. They both tried to use like either the pipe or the mannequin legs as a way to block stuff.
Yeah.
It was moderately successful, but a part of the problem is that the lane was tilted to one side because the driveway is not even, so the balls all rolled to one side, and that was where the reinforcements were not. And so the balls went down and they hit the pins. Lisa's knocked down 23, Asim knocked down 28. In the middle of this, I'd just like to point out there is the commercial break in the middle of this task, which
I love this one. This reminded me of the Champion of Champions one.
This one is actually Alex in a green screen coming out of a wardrobe into various episodes of season 1.
Oh no, there's season 3 as well, because there's the bit of the track with Rob Beckett and the graph task with Aisling B in the previous series.
Well, no. In the first one,
I'm talking about over time, over the course of the episode.
In the first break, it's season 1.
Him coming out of the cupboard is also a reference to the task in the very first episode, where the contestants got into the cupboard and then came out of it in a completely different location.
Yeah. This one is, though, very obviously green screened.
Yeah.
Anyways, moving on to the next group, we have.
It's not like Alex can jump through time and space.
No, he can't.
And the wardrobe is secretly his TARDIS.
Your time starts 20 minutes ago.
Dr. Horn. Dr. Hoon.
But anyways, we next get the next group, which is Team Rat, Russell, Alice, and Tim, who are shown all together. They all try so Russell and Tim try, and then Alice Levine is there.
Oh, God.
Russell and Tim both try to put stuff across the entire width of the lane.
I have a note for Tim, because one of the objects was a drain pipe, and he puts the lower half of the mannequin perpendicular to the drain pipe in exactly the right place to where it looks like, it looks like a big dick, basically. Yeah. And I wrote, surely thumbnail.
I don't have anything else right off the top of my head. Well, except for the face Alex makes in the last task. But
the cake one.
Yes.
Oh, that you're right. I think we have to go with that one because that is probably the most iconic moment of this series.
Yes, but anyways, Tim does not end up using the mannequin legs. He ends up using the string to tie to each side of the lane to hold the tube in place. Russell, I think, just does the string. Alice does as well, but Alice also puts down a wet cardboard box and some banana peels.
Mario Kart style.
Mario Kart. And what happens is honestly a subversion, because I thought it would actually work. I'm going to be real. I thought it would work, at least for Tim. But the balls basically pushed the tube up, or it went in between the gaps of them and the rope and just didn't even slow down. Alice,
do you think? I was going to ask because the tube was like just not big enough to fit in the gap.
That would not have helped.
I was going to say, maybe I was thinking, could there possibly be an angle that the tube could go at?
No,
so it could stop. But then I realized if it's just completely too short, then no, that's not going to work.
No, but
so yeah.
In the end, we get Russell knocks down 20 pins, Alice knocks down 28, and Tim knocks down 33 of a possible 36. So this does not go very well.
Not at all
for them. It ends generally badly, and then we also have a few adapted versions of this task as well, all from the Scandinavian regions. Basti Test did it in
Big up Basti Test.
Season 3, Episode 2. Stormester did it Season 2, Episode 2. And Thermostari did it Season 2, Episode 2 as well. So a lot of Episode 2s for this one. And
it's quite a twosie, this task.
Yeah, except for this one, which it was a 10.
A 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then moving on to long distance blowing.
Yeah. Not a complete, not sexual at all. I kind of wish I was doing the last task, but oh well. Blow out the candle from the furthest distance. Furthest person from the candle when the candle goes out wins. You may not relight the candle after it goes out. You have a maximum of 10 minutes. Your time starts now.
I like how in the studio, Alex actually asks, how hard can it be? He was really on form this episode with just making fun of people.
Alex, I think we don't... Obviously, Alex is very underappreciated, and he's already appreciated as it is. But he is like... Greg Davies might be the Taskmaster, but Alex is the almighty god who oversees everything. He knows everything, and he can do... He can just make contestants feel ways that Greg Davies can't. Because whereas Greg's very blunt and direct, but Alex is very sly with his choice of words and very sarcastic. Alex is essentially the breakout star of his own show.
Yeah.
But anyway, this is not the horn section. Russell. So Russell tries to blow out the candle simply just by he gets a huge... What am I doing? He tried to blow out the candle by attaching a vacuum cleaner to a drain pipe. Can you blow... I mean, you can't blow it out by sucking it, but can you extinguish the flame by sucking?
If it's a strong enough wind, then yes.
Okay, that's... Because I was going to say... Obviously, blow's not the right word. But anyway, the vacuum cleaner doesn't work, so he resorts to just getting this fuck-off big hose pipe, and he just starts blowing from the other end of that. And yeah, it's good considering the length of the pipe, which is about 2.86 meters, or one and a bit Richard Osman's.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I'm just quickly Googling how much that is in feet. 9.3 feet. So that's quite... That's about 1.5 Richard Osman's, really.
Yeah.
Next is Lisa, and...
Well, no, it's Lisa and Asim together.
Lisa and Asim together.
Which, again, I love Asim's confidence here because he goes, this is the best idea I've ever had in my life.
Yeah, what Asim does is he ties, there's a ball string, he ties one end of the string around the candle, and then he just runs away with the ball until he's completely unraveled it. And then he tries to yank it out at the furthest distance, and it gets caught on something. So he has to go back a bit to sort of unstuck it. There's a little bit of a kerfuffle in the studio about whether he blew the candle out, but Greg decides that it was blown out because of the movement of air.
Yeah, well,
sort of rushing against it.
I would say it's been blown out. I also would like to point out that when they do this, Russell complains that Asim it didn't actually blow it out, and then Alice points out that it was a tug, not a blow.
That was where we started to get. Yep. As I mean, we didn't have to make this task sexual. The contestants did it for us. Now, this is probably where I'm starting to get a problem with my notes, because for Lisa, I wrote, oh no, and then ran for 15 minutes. So I think she was trying to put the candle in.
So Lisa set the vacuum in front of the candle with the idea that the vacuum would eventually blow the candle out. And in the meantime, she ran away as far away as she could. And the
candle didn't go out.
The problem is that the candle didn't go out, and then the film crew couldn't find her.
Well, they allude, because of the I Love Tom Hanks sandwich board, they alluded to it again because obviously Tom Hanks played Forrest Gump, and Lisa ran like Forrest.
Yeah, she ended up hiding in a graveyard behind a parked car, went into a riverbank, and then because they couldn't find her, she had to go back up to the car.
I really want to do a Tom Hanks movie marathon. He's just so good.
I've seen most of them. I'm good.
I mean, I'm not saying this is something I'd do with you. It'd just be something I'd do by myself. But oh God, he's just so good as an actor and a person. Like he's definitely one of Hollywood's most beloved people. Tim, I wrote down in my notes, calm down, mate, because Tim tries to make a long pipe by connecting drinking straws.
I was going to say my favorite part of Tim's task was he immediately dismisses the tubes as a red herring and then goes for the notably more efficient method of taping straws together.
I went through a very short phase in my early single digits where, like, you know, cartoon characters would like make really long straws and stuff. Mm-hmm. I wanted to try my hand at that, and the way I found out to make really long straws was you sort of had to like twist the end of one to sort of fit it perfectly into the bottom of another. But the problem with that method is it obviously limits your airflow or your air suction, whatever it is. So you could barely get a single droplet of whatever you're drinking into your mouth. But yeah, he tries the drinking straw method before eventually resorting to a hose pipe, which is also landing on the floor, just chilling there. And he blows the candle out from 13.8 meters.
Yes.
Alice, who's paired with Tim, also opts for the hose pipe. But she wants to test it out, so she gets Alex to blow into the end. Well, she blows into the end and gets Alex to see if she can feel it.
And she thought Alex was lying,
which was very rude considering the cute relationship they've had up to this point.
I would think that Alex would be lying to me.
Well, he proves that he's not lying by asking them to swap. So he blows, and Alice can feel it, and she ran out of time or something, and she just had to she wanted to go bigger or something, didn't she?
No, I think Alice was just trying to do it, and she kept moving closer by accident.
Oh yeah, because she and Tim both used the hose pipe, but Tim was over 10 meters further away. Because he uncoiled the hose pipe to its longest length. Alice didn't uncoil it at all. Sorry. And I also wrote down the noise she made when she blew into it was humorous.
Nah.
Not Little Snowman going cooey kind of humorous for me at least, but yeah. Oh God, I just completely broke down when I had to talk about that moment. And I think it was just because it was sounded so funny on 2 times the speed.
You still watch it on 2 times the speed?
Yeah, I do, because I have other things to do with my life.
So do I. I just sacrificed 2 hours of my Tuesday.
But honestly, my favorite Russell Howard moment is later in this episode. But anyway, the scores. Asim was the furthest, so he gets 5. Then Tim gets 4, Alice 3, Russell 2, and Lisa 0. It's a stinky episode so far for Lisa.
Yes.
I don't suppose you can make any objections to this, Joe.
No, it's all objective.
Yeah. But anyway, here's one for you, but I do have something to say in this task. Do you want to take it away, Joe, or should I read it out?
Say what do you want to say?
Read the task out.
Oh.
Task 3.
Well, actually, before we go on, there is a sizable adapted stable of ones for the Blow Out the Candle one.
Oh, okay.
Starting out with Stormester Season 2, Episode 1.
Mm-hmm.
Season 2, Episode 10 of Kongan Befaller, which actually took place in their Taskmaster house instead of in like a separate building. So they had a lot more materials. Season 1, Episode 6 of Director Sevmira.
Which one's Director Sevmira?
Croatia.
Oh, okay.
And then Season 1, Episode 7 of Taskmaster Portugal. Which aired just this past March in 2022. or actually April. I'm sorry.
Okay.
And then
yeah. Sorry.
and then so onwards to this episode, which
The
is
final VT task of the series, and I think you couldn't have picked a more appropriate one to go out on.
They did this on purpose. So this one was tell the Taskmaster you
Of course,
love him.
of course, this episode was deliberate. They picked all the tasks where Asim does well.
Yes. Tell the Taskmaster you love him in the most meaningful way. You have half an hour. Your time starts now. So, okay, I'm going to be real.
Yep.
4 of these don't matter, but I'm just going to talk about them very briefly. So I'm going to just talk about the rest of the task very briefly. First of all, we get the intro to the Taskmaster house for the task. This one actually has Greg in the intro thing, which is something I don't think we've ever seen before. I think this might be one of the first ones we've actually got with him in it.
He definitely pops up in more of the later ones.
Yeah, no, they started doing that, but this is one of the first ones. Then just a quick shout out to Tim for looking at the picture of Greg and saying there's something wrong with that mirror. First one right off the bat, Asim makes a rap about Greg, complete with a music video. He offers to have Greg's babies.
Should we play the soundbite of this?
Yeah, you can. Otherwise, I'm just going to be repeating quotes of it.
I mean, we could do what we did for the Diverse Stripes song, play out the episode as well.
Yes, just play it now. This is
okay.
This will be good.
This is Asim's song, and I think it's really cool.
Listen, Greg. Listen, Greg. Listen, Greg. I love you like Greg's, the bakery. We go together like steak and cheese. We go together like steak and cheese. Yeah, yo, it's a love letter. No one can love you better. His name is Greg and he's all in my head. He's the Taskmaster, beating my heart faster. Tall motherfucker with the ivory hair. I dreamt about this house, now I'm finally here. Just me and you, Greg, in our gorgeous palace. Listen, mate, you giving me the horn like Alex. I might sound crazy like raisins, but Greg Davies, I wanna have your babies. I wanna have your babies. Listen, Greg, I love you like Greg's, the bakery. We go together like steak and cheese.
I will say it's not one of the worst songs we've ever had on this show. This one's actually a real. Asim has musical skill.
This was Asim Chowdhury's. This was my in terms of like how he did it. This was Asim Chowdhury's best task for me.
Yeah. Up next, we've got
Tim and Russell.
Russell and Tim together. Tim decides that he's going to dress as Greg's mother and tell him that Tim is proud of him based on an appearance that Greg had with her at an awards show. I personally would not feel loved if someone cross-dressed as my mother and told me they loved me. That would just be weird. But not nearly as weird as Russell Howard, who decides that the best way to show his love for Greg is to not have sex with Greg's mom. Which I cannot stress that enough. Russell Howard's thought process to complete this task is I'm going to maybe seduce Greg's mom and then not have sex with her.
Honestly, that I would have...
Out of respect for Greg. And I'm like, that's weird. I think we can all agree. That's
honestly, I think
really
if
fucking weird.
I think it would be even weirder if he seduced his mum and had sex with her, because at least that's what you do. Because
it's weird. I don't like it. I'm not.
Can I say though, Russell's Howard's moment? It wasn't until I rewatched it, but I think this is my favorite moment of the series. It doesn't make me laugh out loud, but I just love the way it's
the masculinity bit where he's standing in the box. I always liked with Russell.
But can I say my notes for these two?
Yes.
So, because I heard Tim first, and Tim said he was like thinking of dressing up as Greg's mother. I wrote, "Oh no!" And then when Russell, at first I sort of misheard Russell at first. I thought he was going to shag Greg's mum, so I wrote, "Oh no!" like in all caps with exclamation marks. And then I also wrote how underwhelming. But my favorite moment for Russell Howard in this series, he goes into the kitchen, right? 30 minutes pass.
Bedroom or something.
Oh no, I think the Taskmaster house doesn't have a bedroom.
He goes into.
I think he goes into the kitchen. It feels like he goes into the kitchen based on the geography of the house.
The kitchen doesn't have a door.
Yes, it does. How would you get it? Well,
goes
whatever. He goes into
a
room, and half an hour later he comes out looking very forlorn. And Alex asks Russell if he had sex with Greg's mum, and Russell's just very nonchalantly like, no, she's probably at home watching Loose Women or something. And I love this moment just because it's sort of just like Russell does not know what to feel. He's like, it feels to me like this could be a scene from a soap opera or something.
It was very weirdly shot. I thought the whole point of the joke was that he was going off to have some alone time with himself, to do something I'm trying to dance around not having to say.
What are you really below? Are you really above all that, Joe?
I don't want to say it.
All right, I won't say it. I'm not going to make you say it.
Russell wanted to be the master of his own domain for a little while, is what I thought he was doing. But I don't know.
Yeah, he just walks out with his head down. Clearly, he doesn't know what to do or say. Yeah, that's what I have.
Yeah, and then after this, in between this and Alice, we get the ad break, which does show, as we've discussed, season 5 bits from season 5 and season 2. But I just wanted to mention that really quickly to get us away from Russell Howard's. What went on in Russell's head, and what went on in Tim's head? Why was this considered something that was a good idea?
I think at the end of the day, it's a TV show, and you have to try and entertain the people.
I guess. Anyways,
also it doesn't matter because these people are probably getting paid more than the Taskmaster trophy's ever worth.
Yes. Anyways, up next we get Alice Levine, who, if anyone in here is the middling task of here, this is it. She wanted to do skywriting, and I could totally see her actually bending the rules a bit, because the rules don't really matter in this show, that she organizes a skywriting company.
If you're going to bend the rules, you have to do so in such a bloody good way that people will, that Greg, especially in later seasons, would not.
Well, no, I can totally see them deciding that the half hour she spends on the phone is organizing this, but she would call up a skywriting company and have a skywriting company do that. No, Alice makes up a little sign on a piece of toilet paper that says, "I heart you, Greg, asterisk, in parentheses, professionally," and then ties it to a rubber band airplane, which she throws. And because the airplane presumably crashed immediately, Alice then has to stand there and looks up, and the airplane green screen flies away. And it's really bad. It's really dumb. I don't think it's very good. And then
this reminds me of do you remember? Oh God, the green screen task in series 3 where they
then we move on to the only one that really matters, which is Lisa Tarbuck. And again,
this is the moment from series 6.
This entire task is what goes on inside these people's heads. Because
maybe Lisa's head specifically.
No, all of them. Because so far we've got tell Greg Davies you love him. In the context of, you have been on this show, you are aware that the show is Taskmaster, you are aware that the Taskmaster is some possibly malevolent being who is making you do all this stuff. You're aware of all of that, and to come up with a way to tell him that you love him. Tim cross-dressed as his mother. Asim wrote a rap where he offered to have Greg's babies.
I shudder to think what that would look like.
Russell Howard elected to not have sex with Greg's mother, and Alice Levine legitimately thought that a rubber band airplane would be a decent skywriting performance, or decent anything in this task. And then Lisa Tarbuck thinks within mere instance of seeing this task and comprehending it, which makes me think that this was on her mind already, that she is going to have Alex Horn in Greg's stead sit down bare-assed on a cake with custard frosting.
Or filling, I think it was.
I don't care what it had frosting.
If there was custard in it, imagine what that must be like to sit down on.
I don't want to imagine that. But
anyways,
I think
it would be quite nice, but I wouldn't want to try it.
We don't get any further information, just a smash cut to Alex outside the shed, Lisa outside the shed. The cake is on
a chair in the shed.
The cake has a little, what are they called?
Profiteroles.
What are those?
It's choux pastry filled with whipped cream.
What pastry?
Choux pastry.
Is that like puff pastry?
It's like the pastry chocolate eclairs are made of.
Okay. So those are up there. And then Alex goes inside the shed. Lisa sits outside very voyeuristically. And Alex pulls down his pants, pulls down his underwear. I feel bad for whichever poor fuck had to do the censoring work on this, because that's not what they signed up for. And then sat down on the cake. And can we just play the noise?
We can play the noise. Alex's face is priceless.
Delightful.
It's just perfect. It's perfect. Like, literally, oh god, I don't know how to describe it. It's like it's definitely he sat on something.
It is the most expression you could possibly have, because
This is the most emotional range Alex has shown all show.
This is most anything that is going on. It is very wild. It is.
You couldn't make this up if you tried. This is the moment of the series.
This has been in the opening credits every episode, soundbite and all. It is this season's version of the watermelon task.
Yeah, but except with this one, the whole series has been building up to this moment.
Yeah, this is on par with Sally Phillips making Alex be born again.
Oh yeah. I was going to say this is the MCU's equivalent of Iron Man's snap.
I would not go that far. But this is a lot. This is a lot all at once. I wonder what was going through Lisa's head. I don't really want to know. But anyways, we do get the scoring. Greg puts Asim and Lisa in joint first place. Tim is in third. Alice is in fourth. Russell is in dead last. Drop the Taskmaster Joe theme right here. That was a sound.
It's the Taskmaster and his name is Joe, and he's gonna tell us what we should know. It's Taskmaster Joe.
Anyways, Russell, Tim, Alice, I put them all last because they all sucked. Lisa and Asim get joined first. So that's where I put that. There is also a couple of adapted versions, Basti Test, Season 3, Episode 5, and Director Samira, Season 1, Episode 8. It should be noted in Basti Test, the contestants had 100 days to come up with their expressions of love and not half an hour.
I think the shorter time span would make things funnier. Personally.
It would. Unless okay. And then I'm sorry. I just am trying to remember how the hell this live task works. This is absolutely insane.
Yeah, the live tasks, we always struggle with the live tasks on the podcast because, of course, there's so much going on, but simultaneously not much going on. So, display a number. They've got like one of those counter boards you get in a primary school with flat, and they've got like flaps with numbers on them that range from 00 to 99. You get one rosette if your number is higher than the person on your right. You get one rosette if the number is lower than the person on your left. So basically, you've got to try and make a scale of ascending numbers, except if you're Tim, whose number has to be it's lower than the... Tim's had to be smaller than Alice's, bigger than Alice's, smaller than
bigger than Al. Tim basically got into a situation where his had to be smaller than like 60 and higher than than 60 and lower than 14 at the same time.
If you were to move Tim to the front of the line ahead of Alice, then it would be a scale of numbers ascending in size.
This is a very weird task. Also, I just want to point out, rosettes are those ribbon things they pin onto you at events. That's not the word we use for them here in the United States.
What do you call them?
Ribbons.
Yeah. But rosette is the English term for it.
Yeah, I figured. And then most rosettes after 3 rounds wins.
Yeah. Should I try and talk about this?
It's very weird. I did write down what actually happened in each round.
The only sort of thing of note in this task was that Lisa and Russell both lost their rosettes in the second round.
Do you want a play-by-play? I actually did that.
It's my task though, but all right.
Okay. No. I can. No. If you don't want, I'm fine.
It's just not really that interesting, really.
No, it's really weird. Nobody was quite sure how it worked.
Like, this is usually the thing, though, because, I mean, the only other instance I could think of is Series 3, where the final live task was so confusing that not even the contestants understood it. Get the lowest unique number of rosettes after X amount of time. That's what they probably should have done. Or Busty Test likes to do it.
Yeah.
Anyway, as you can probably tell, the energy levels are quite low, so I think we should wrap this up.
I mean, let's...
It's nearly midnight here for me, and I have an early start tomorrow. Anyway, Alice finishes with 5 rosettes, Asim finishes with 4, Tim finishes with 3, and Lisa and Russell both finish with 0. So, very nicely, the number of rosettes they finish with is the same number of points they're awarded.
Yes.
Which means that the final scores for the episode are... Asim Chowdhury is the winner with 22 points. So Asim wins his first ever episode.
Yay.
And some very inappropriate gifts to take to a wedding. But what matters most is the final series scores. In final place, 5th and final place, with 152 points, is Alice Levine. In 4th place, with 159 points, is Asim Chowdhury. In 3rd place, with 170 points, is Russell Howard. Tim in 2nd with 175, but Lisa Tarbuck finishes in 1st with 181 points. So Lisa is a 6th champion. Yay!
Yay!
Can you tell how excited we are?
I'm just glad that we're done.
This, obviously because of more episodes of the series, but this series did feel quite long.
It's the first one with 10 episodes. It is quite long.
Yeah. I feel later series work much better with 10 episodes, but I feel like this one is it's a bit slow to the punch, this one.
Yeah.
And I don't blame them. My very quick thoughts on the series is I feel like in terms of cast, this is probably the weakest.
I do not think that.
I feel
These
like they didn't have
insane.
Yeah, but they didn't have much chemistry together, I thought. I'm not saying this is the weakest series. I agree that the weakest series is still Series 2. But I feel like this is the weakest cast we've had so far by a small margin. Like they just weren't really any, because like you could think of moments from the series previous of like the contestants having really nice relationships, particularly during the team task. The contestants just didn't really gel well together in the team tasks, I thought. I mean, no, they gelled fine, but like, why drink a glass of water when you could have a chocolate milkshake?
I still think season 2 is weaker.
Don't get me wrong. Series 2 is the worst series yet. Also, I feel like this cast especially didn't really work with the longer episode.
Yeah, this entire season could have been 7 episodes, and I wouldn't have missed anything.
Very weird number, but okay.
It could have been like a shorter number of episodes.
Like they could have kept with 8, maybe.
Yeah, or 8, yeah, something like that.
Series 7 is definitely one of the series that works very good with 10 episodes because we've got people like Rod Gilbert and James Acaster just constantly fucking around. Oh yeah, you excited for next series, Joe?
I am.
Because of the amazing cast that we have.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's it from us. You'll definitely hear from us again before the end of the year. Shall I just throw a random date out for the Christmas Ramble episode?
No, message me later so that we can make sure our schedules work.
Yeah, but I want to make sure the audience knows. Maybe we could just put like a short episode out beforehand. Or in the spirit of Christmas, it can be a fucking surprise. But then we won't get views.
As opposed to now?
Ladies and gentlemen, you will hear from us before the end of the year where me and Joe will just have an episode where we talk. I will probably defend a movie that Joe hates. We'll probably talk about some TV shows, some unpopular opinions, current topical stuff. And it'll be a right merry old time, won't it, Joe?
Yes.
Until then, drink water. Not chocolate milkshakes because water's healthy. And yeah, I will see you soon.
Yeah.
Bye, Joe.
Bye.
Bye.